Perhaps nothing says season's greetings brighter than this. It's an activity that, for some Madison families, has become a yearly tradition. The Holiday Fantasy and Lights, hosted this year at Olin Park, is as popular as ever.
It's a ton of fun. Everyone knows the lights. We're in the 35th annual event this year. People tell stories about how they would come or their parents would bring them, and now they're bringing their kids. Now they're picking up grandma and grandpa. So it's really neat how it's really spanned so many. We're crossing generations now.
Even the big man himself sometimes makes the visit.
This year, Santa has been popping out from time to time to just wave to the visitors.
Every year, many local organizations, contractors, volunteers, and even visitors come together to keep the lights on.
Volunteering, you get more than you give. So I always go home feeling I did something good tonight.
Driving through the many colorful scenes, it feels almost like turning the pages of a storybook. And in a way, you are.
People often ask, how did they come up with the concept? Well, really, they always pictured like coloring book images, and they thought, we can light these up.
The lights stay on all through the night, making the holiday season just a little bit brighter.
It's a wonderful drive-through opportunity, and Madison comes out in huge numbers and enjoys this.
Reporting from UW-Madison, I'm Daniel Hill. Winter has arrived, and with it, Madison's newly named snowplows prepare to hit the streets. For their debut, the four most popular winners of last year's snowplow naming contest now have their own free merch, collector cards.
People like cards, whether it's people my age that are nostalgic from baseball cards, or people that like collecting like Pokemon cards or other trading card games. We can do something fun with this thing.
Whether it's Dolly Plowton's favorite movie, or seeing Snowy-One Kenobi using his favorite force power, the cards are full of insights into Madison's most popular snow machines. At the Madison Public Library, as well as the Henry Vilas Zoo, where the cards are available, the cards are a hit.
We've actually had people come in specifically to get the cards, which is a lot of fun. And then oftentimes some of the kids and families that come in, and even adults, will see the cards, ask about them, read them, have a good chuckle, and then end up taking them home.
But don't think these celebrity plows are just in it for the fame. The back of each card also features facts and resources for learning about effective and environmentally conscious salt use in Madison.
These lakes need our help. The drinking water need our help. So this is one way we could be a little better stewards of this resource around us.
At the end of the day, though, it's also about having fun.
We're still the city whose city bird is that plastic pink yard flamingo, right? We can't lose that. That's one of the things supposed to make Madison special. Let's keep hold of that. Naming a plow is one small little piece of that. We can't lose that spirit of who we are. So let's embrace it. Let's go. Let's do some small little joyful things whenever we can.
Reporting from UW-Madison, I'm Daniel Hill. Wisconsin holds many places designed to preserve its history. But here, within a patch of trees just south of Baraboo, you'll find pieces from a time not quite our own. A garden park, depicting the world of a single man. Tom Avery, builder and scrap dealer. Dr. Evermore, scientist and time traveler. Everything you see came from him and his family. But time moves evermore, even here. If you visit the park today, you will not find Dr. Evermore. But you won't find it empty either.
I'm Misha Horner, and I'm a luthier. I repair and build stringed instruments for a living. When I retired, I came to the park at the first celebration of life for Doc, and came for that and just stayed then, and just kept coming every day and working and hanging around the park and doing projects. I'm involved in trying to, with TWIA, trying to dig the bone here. We're trying to figure out part of what's behind all this. That's the deepest question about the park. What did Doc have in mind when he built all this? Part of this has to do with the industrial age. He considered himself kind of a Victorian. Dr. Evermore was a Victorian scientist, time traveler, dealt with Victorian machinery. So this is kind of his way of paying tribute to all those Victorian machines, some of them still working in England, still producing work, still pumping water and so forth in London. And part of this is involved with the cosmology and geomancy, with geometry and so forth. So there's some secrets here yet that we're still digging and still trying to figure out about what was the deepest part of his thoughts, you know, and it's really exciting. There's treasures in here that are unseen yet, and that's part of the fun.
It's one thing to visit the park, but quite another to spend a lifetime here.
Hello.
Am I barging in? Is this okay?
No, you're good.
Yeah, look around. Meet Lady Eleanor, Tom Avery's life partner and soulmate. And like all great love stories, theirs was a smash hit from day one.
I broke the windows in his plant.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Do you mind talking about that? Do you mind going?
No, it was in my backyard, and we were walking to school, and the kids and we just took rocks and broke windows because he had a dog barking. And that was bad. Well, I was the only one he caught doing it, which I apologized. And then all of a sudden, he started asking me out. I was in high school when I went with him.
They would go on to get married and start a life together, fueling each other's passion for saving and reusing material. This passion, along with Tom's ever-growing suppliers and colleagues in the scrap trade, would give him the resources to eventually create the many projects that would come to occupy the park and his life.
He was an industrial wrecker, so he always had the torch in his hand.
Right.
Yeah. And he was depressed. Everything was kind of going not his way. And he decided to make something here and do the welding here, and instead of someplace else. And it was just too beautiful. That was working till 2 a.m. at the park here. Wow. I would be there. We have a chair in front of the Forevertron. I'd lay on that. I couldn't stay awake, but I never left him. I was always with him when he was working.
Lady Eleanor still hasn't left, selling art and talking to visitors every day the park is open.
I miss him, because I stayed till 2 o'clock in the morning working with him. I'm used to that. I don't have that now. But I have a lot of things going on with TWIA. She's building things back up again. And that's been exciting.
So my name's TWIA Kotler, and I'm the daughter of Dr. Evermore and Lady Eleanor. Basically, I help out with the day-to-day operations of the park, work with the public, help with the sales, help with cleanup, help with the online website, help with legal things with the trademarks. Boy, anything and everything that comes up with the sculpture park, I'm pretty involved in. A majority of the responsibilities here at the park do fall on our family. So so my mother, myself, my older brother Thayer, my sister Treasure, and I we're all heavily involved in everything. And then my little brother Troy, he was the one that made, and I don't have them, I can show them to you. They're his gladiator sculptures, and his baseball team players are our favorite sculptures. No disrespect, towards my dad, but my little brother's sculptures are our favorite. And but he's really talented. He built a lot of those sculptures when he was like 16 years old. And unfortunately, when my dad passed in 2020, we actually lost Troy that fall in 2020 as well. So both those two are now intergalactic time traveling together. Dad was very eccentric, and he's probably one of the most interesting people that I've ever had experience being around. So when he was in the nursing home, I used to spend hours at a time just hanging out listening to him, because he really liked to talk a lot and talk a lot of different stories. I think one of the gifts of being like his daughter is, you see your father in different stages. As you're growing up, you look at him one way when you're 5, you see him a different way when you're 10. But it's kind of, and they see you growing at different stages. And I feel like from growing up with him, and then the final stages of, when he was 81, when he passed, he was so many different people with different hats on at different times. And I think that that 81-year-old in him was probably had the most humility and kindness, and it's really interesting how the evolution. So if I wish anybody could know about my dad, is he was super eccentric when he was building this, but he was also became super kind and had a lot more humility and stuff as he got from his late 70s into his 80s. And if people didn't get to experience that, I wish they could have, because he was absolutely wonderful.
The park is about love. It's about love of people, love of life, love of what human beings could do and will do. And as you can see in the front, the wheel, the red wheel in the front, that's the last thing that Doc made. And it was at the nursing home. It was in the lobby of the nursing home. So the commandment is love each other, love each other. And that's what he tried to portray, and that's what you'll see on the sculpture. It says it right on there, love each other.
Oh, it was pure love that happened here. He was in total depression when he started. Everything went wrong. And so Jim, and he owned the land with Jim. And Jim says, just do what you want back there, Tom. Who would have thought?
Come and enjoy the park. Bring your hopes, dreams, fears, loves, hates, and leave them here. Take home the good with you, take home the feeling that Doc tried to create, take home love out into the world, and the feeling of awe and inspiration out into the world. Leave the other stuff here. We'll take care of it for you.